What's going on, everybody? My name's LeakyTapsMan, and this is another This Week in Gaming, where I put my gaming news inside of you. And this week, there's a lot more interesting news than there has been in the last couple of weeks. I know there was quite a bit of a lull, but we seem to be out of that, hopefully for good. And one bit of news that I found particularly interesting was regarding a potential Dishonored 2. Now, this game has only just come out, and it's getting very, very good review scores, by the way. But anyway, when discussing a potential sequel, the designer of the game is named Harvey Smith. He had the following to say: "Part of me would love to see future games leverage this world, and part of me would love it if the vault door was just closed and that's it." Very on the fence in itself. And then when asked by Kotaku, these were the guys interviewing him, they said, "Are you leaning one way or the other?" He said, "I can't say." Which, if we read a bit between the lines, I think really it reveals that yes, he does want to make another game, and I'm not even sure if it's within his control. We know Bethesda own the rights to the game, and in all likelihood, if it's successful in terms of sales, which so far I think it's looking positive, then we can assume a second game will come out. And there's also a lot of lore in the game, apparently, a lot of backstory beyond the main story, so they've got a lot of avenues to explore with potential extra games. So I know talk of a sequel may be a bit premature, but what's been said is quite encouraging for those hoping for a sequel. Okay, some information surfaced this week on Valve's next game. Now, this isn't any of their main series, this is going to be a completely new IP, supposedly. This was leaked by an artist who was previously working for Valve. He's no longer with them, and he showed some concept art on his portfolio, supposedly from a game that's in development of Valve, and supposedly this is an MMO set in space, and it's codenamed SOB, which stands for Stars of Barathrum. No details other than that. When approached for comment, Valve remains silent, so take that as you will. Although I'm not the biggest fan of MMOs, I would be quite interested to see Valve's take on the genre, because I'm a big fan of a lot of things they do, and there's certainly a gap in the market for a new massive MMO now that World of Warcraft's kind of winding down. So as always, take this rumour/news with a pinch of salt, but it's certainly quite an interesting rumour. Okay, Rockstar have announced a Games Collection #1, which includes the following: episodes from Liberty City, which is the 2 expansions, Lost and Damned and Ballad of Gay Tony, Red Dead Redemption, LA Noire and Midnight Club Los Angeles. Together, this will cost $60, and of course, calling it Rockstar Game Collection 1 leaves the door open for more, so they've still got a lot to fall back on. They've got Bully, Max Payne 3, GTA 4 the main game, Rockstar Table Tennis. These are just games that have been released this gen. They could always go back to Vice City, San Andreas, that kind of era. They haven't really said their future plans, but there's a lot of potential within this. Rockstar have a massive back catalogue of games to go through. But this first collection, they're all fantastic, very, very cheap for what you're getting, and if you haven't picked them up for whatever reason, now is as good a time as any. Alright, also this week, Sega have announced that they're re-releasing Toejam and Earl, and the second game, which is Toejam and Earl Panic on Funkatron, for Xbox Live Arcade and PlayStation Network. You get the 2 games together for 800 Microsoft points. It's got online co-op, it's got achievements/trophies, and although I never played the games myself, I know a lot of people online rave about these games, so I'm definitely going to pick them up. And while Sega are on this whole rampage of re-releasing their old games, their actual good games, how's about we see Shenmue 1 and 2? Just throwing it out there, Sega. And Skies of Arcadia while we're at it. Okay, and a couple more things this week. A relatively minor one, but it involves Black Ops 2, so I thought I'd put it in here because it's always popular. Activision announced that Elite as a monthly subscription thing will cease to exist. It will now be Elite is free and you just buy DLC like normal, but you can get a season pass which will cost 4,000 Microsoft points, and you get 4 DLC packs which will be 1,200 each normally, so that's a saving of 800, nothing substantial. But if you were planning to get them anyway, you may as well get the season pass. And then all the main features of Elite are now free, so that includes clan stuff, which I always thought should be in the main game really anyway, but it's their prerogative. And it also leaves quite a big question mark over the people that got Elite, say in December, January time, or later than November basically, so they've got a paid service which they can't use, which I find is a bit of a middle finger to the consumer, so hopefully Treyarch will kind of do right by them and give them some content for what they've paid for. And finally, I'm going to end the video on somewhat of a sour note. Seldom does news rustle my jimmies, but my jimmies are firmly rustled with this. Microsoft have released a new games content usage policy. Basically, this outlines how people can distribute their content, so making videos of their games basically. And within all the technical jargon and legal jargon, they basically said you cannot monetize anything to do with their content if you're a YouTube partner. So that means no Halo, no Fable, no Forza, no Project Gotham, basically their massive library of exclusive games that they publish. So the connotations of this are that I will not be doing any videos based on Halo 4, which I am absolutely gutted about, because I was planning to do like a livecom series, something like a Road to Commander, because Halo is one of those games that I'm really in tune with. I'm good at the game, I always have a laugh on it, and it would have shown a side to me that people rarely see on my channel. And this isn't some sour grapes over the fact that I can't monetize anything. That's far from the truth. I don't do any of this for the money. I get very, very little for the amount of time that I put in, and anything that I have made I've literally just put back into the channel, buying equipment, buying stuff for giveaways. So this isn't about the money, it's just about the principle of the thing. Microsoft are a massive company, they don't need to put this kind of stranglehold on their content. YouTube videos only serve to make a game more popular. Case in point, Minecraft. They're just shooting themselves in the foot, and whilst I don't feel bad for Microsoft, I do feel bad for 343, because it looks like they've made a stellar game with Halo 4 and it's not going to be nearly as popular as it should be because of this one silly little ruling. All the big YouTubers are going to avoid it like the plague. I'm going to avoid it out of principle alone. And like I say, I apologise to end the video on such a sour note, but I thought it was necessary to kind of level with everyone my whole stance on this. I know it's not necessarily gaming news, but it does have pretty big implications for this channel at least. But anyway, that summarises everything that's gone on this week in the world of video games. As always, I'd love to hear your opinions. A quick rundown of what's happened this week. Dishonored 2, Valve's space MMO. Rockstar Game Collection, where could they go with this? Toejam and Earl, what the hell are the games? Because I have no idea, just tell me if you played them as a kid. How good were they? Black Ops 2 getting rid of Elite, at least in its current form. And Microsoft being Nazis, basically. I realise this is now like 2 days late. You'll just have to take my word for it when I say that there has been a lot of stuff conspiring against me making videos. And internet permitting, I will get my sequels for arcade and sequels for platformers videos out this week. A huge thank you for watching. If you could like, that would be fantastic. Goodbye.